The Impact Collective mahi came as a result of working together in the COVID-19 environment, where Crown agencies, iwi and the community came together working side by side and breaking down organisational and territorial boundaries and silos for the benefit of our community. Here we were able to expand our views, beginning to look at our communities across social, environmental and economic well-beings, and starting to look at things more holistically, including the way that we engage and interact with one another. The purpose behind the Impact Collective is to work together to gather data and people insights from across our rohe, to inform and support the best actions to improve equity and well-being for all our people. This will be achieved through our three principles. The first one being uniting together. Here, we are committed to breaking down silos and developing genuine and enduring relationships between iwi, communities and our organisations. The second principle is listening together, where everybody within our rohe has an opportunity to share their knowledge and lived experiences, ensuring that we truly engage with our community. The third principle is acting together. As organisations and communities shift towards having community-level intelligence, we need to support iwi and our communities to take action. Therefore, the purpose of the Impact Collective is to support mana-enhancing services and initiatives. What we've done with the Impact Collective has been able to put together three frameworks, which consist of the globally leading United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which outlines a way of peace and prosperity for people across the globe. The second framework featured is the Treasury's Living Standards Framework, which is a basis for wellbeing across Aotearoa. And finally, a local framework is the whānau Order Goals. This truly acknowledges and shows how whānau across our rohe are doing at an individual and whānau level in terms of equity and wellbeing.
The Impact Collective can help serve communities by empowering them. It's about giving information to people to allow them to make good decisions, to allow them to make informed decisions that are evidence-based, and then to advocate to their councils, to their DHBs, to their schools, and ultimately to government for funding that is targeted, that is directed to the places where it needs to support people. We want it to go where it can make the most difference and the biggest improvement in people's lives. The dashboard's all about telling people how the rohe is performing. So we look at the 4 territorial authority areas and then we dive down into granular detail, because we know within Whanganui district or within Ruapehu district, no two communities are the same. This is a nationally leading project. There's no doubt about that.
I think from an iwi perspective, what it's going to allow is for us to focus on the Sustainable Development Goals, come up with initiatives using the data that's been presented from the dashboards, and then coming together with the Impact Collective to put together, I guess, ways that we can move forward on these initiatives and how we can work as partners in delivering these, especially with some of our agencies like MSD and TPK.
By joining together, you can actually address the inequities within our communities. The data that we collect is really important to tell the story that requires us to change the way we are working. And certainly, I think that the data provides the evidence for change.
The stats are only the starting point though. Alongside this, it's so important for us to go out into our community and engage through a real lived experience perspective. Engaging with our community can take various forms. We do podcasts with community members in our rohe, good mahi stories, which profiles businesses or individuals doing awesome mahi, alongside workshops, focus groups and one-on-one interviews to show businesses, organisations and people the real lived experiences alongside the stats.
So once we've got the stats and the stories, this has been the really exciting part happens when our team are able to start to analyse our starting point in terms of what the data was telling us, but also overlay that with the stories that we've gathered from our rohe. This is where we can start to actually bring back in our framework and have a look at those relationships across the system as well. We start to be able to look at what we're uncovering in terms of the stats and the stories from a true systems perspective. By systems perspective, what we mean here is where we start to bring in our framework, so our global, national and local frameworks, and start to look at from the perspective of each individual statistic or story, start to look at those relationships within one another across the multiple layers of the different frameworks, and really identify where those opportunities are and where those strengths are in terms of initiatives or services that are already being delivered to the community. One of the core benefits about measuring the data and the stats, as well as capturing stories on an ongoing basis is that it's not capturing a point in time, it's capturing an ongoing reality of what's going on in our communities. This is where we really think that in terms of providing ongoing intelligence, our team are going to be able to add value in that once initiatives or solutions are actually delivered and working within our communities, we can actually measure the impact of those solutions and initiatives so that they can either seek more funding, they can be expanded, they can be tweaked so that they're doing a better job. And we feel that that's really important in terms of the future equity and wellbeing of our rohe. Our first big milestone that we're gearing towards as the Impact Collective is the creation of our rohe equity and wellbeing profiles. These essentially will come in the form of a report that will break down each of the regions that we're focusing on, as well as giving a high-level view across all of the regions. Our hope is that this report will enable initiatives, businesses, communities, iwi to really get an idea of where the opportunities and strengths lie in their communities, and this will inform, hopefully, the formation of some epic initiatives going forwards to help address some of these issues. Our team is all about being there to support the action in that regards. We believe truly that in order for effective initiatives and solutions to be delivered, those need to be designed by the people that they're going to be addressing those needs for. So this is where our team wants to step into, I guess, more of a support role. We're providing the intelligence, we're there to help facilitate and support the process, but this co-design of these initiatives and solutions is really where we want to get the community involved again. If you'd like to get involved, our door's always open. We'd love to hear your stories, we'd love to hear your lived experiences. So make sure you check out our socials, check out our website, and we'd really just love to walk this journey together.